Hello guys, it's Barca Reacts, and today we'll be talking about Barca's new CDM, what we should do in the summer, and who ideally we should get in the pivot position. There's a bunch of names. I think some of them fit. I think some of them obviously don't. I think some of them just more speculation for maybe agents and the player, maybe wanting a higher salary. But honestly, let's go through this and let's talk about it. So the first name obviously probably linked for the longest time because we were linked to him last summer as well was Martin Zubamendi. The first thing I would question with Martin Zubamendi is does he really want to come to Barcelona? Because last summer when Sociedad qualified for the UCL, he he wasn't eager to come, he was like Sociedad is the club of my life, all that stuff. Well, now fast forward 1 year, Sociedad's probably not going to be in the UCL. Let's see if he truly loves them, and we'll see. We'll see if he's going to stay there. But as a fit, Zubamendi is a good player. I think he's a 7, 8 out of 10 player. I don't think he's as good as Busquets. It's just the quality. Busquets is literally generational. Zubamendi is a good player at this time, but I don't think he's as good as Busquets when it's like weak foot or just in general long passing, incredible vision. But I think he fits. He will make Frankie De Jong better. He fits the system. So if we can get him for less than 50 million, I know his release clause is 60, but that's a lot of money for us. So we'll see. If it's 50 million or less, he's definitely one to watch for. As for Amadou Onana, this guy is a physical beast. He's like 6'4", 6'5", absolute tank in the midfield. But the thing is the style. The style, I understand why we'd get this is because so when we play against these bigger teams in bigger games, usually in the Champions League or Real Madrid, Atletico, Bilbao, these guys are very physical and we can compete with them, but this will just give us some superiority in that midfield. But the problem will be possession. In possession, Onana honestly is average. I feel like average at best, to be honest, in possession. He might improve slightly, but the thing is, like, we have a lot of possession. So against a low block, he might be a liability. So maybe we don't play him against those teams with a low block and play when teams are trying to play. But with a real coach like Deserby or Flick or any coach that instills positional play and trains these guys in training, he should have a role and it shouldn't be as big as a gaping hole to fill. And honestly, I think if we have Onana and Frankie De Jong, that should be like the Cruz and Casemiro prototype. How like Casemiro, he's like the competitive eight, the physical eight, but he actually is a CDM. But he's gonna play the eight in possession, and he's probably gonna make forward runs. I could see on the right side as the right interior when Lamine drifts inside. And I think that Frankie De Jong will have to play like a regista, just like a CDM who drops in. But then on offense, he'll probably sit as the one of the pivots, and Onana will drop as one of the pivots. This could work. I think this might work if Flick comes in actually, because Flick he usually plays with a double pivot, so it suits his style. He likes a physical beast, like he had Goretzka in Bayern. But honestly, a lot of question marks. If we get this guy for like 40 mil or less, I would take it. Otherwise, I don't know. We really got to do more scouting on him. The next option, really, I don't know about. Like I watched just a couple games, but Mats Weifer is like he's a CDM from Feyenoord. He's highly rated in that league. But the thing is that Mats Weifer, when I've seen him, he's a bit clumsy on the ball, and sometimes he tries to dribble through like holes in the midfield, and I just don't think he's actually that crazy. I think he's actually a decent defender, decent tackler, but he also goes down too much tackling. I feel like against some really good players, he could get caught lacking, and that's a problem, man. But Matt Swifer, they're saying 25 million. Honestly, if it's 25 million, I probably wouldn't get him. But if it's like cheaper, but I doubt it's gonna be cheaper, fine or look decent. So I feel like he's gonna stay or go to a different team, but he's another option. And if it's a discounted price, I'll look at it. I'll look at him. Moving on, this guy cannot be disregarded. If you don't know who this is Mark Burnell. He's probably the highest rated pivot that we've have. I understand Powell Prem also plays that, but I just don't know if Powell Prem is going to make it through. Mark Burnell is more highly rated in La Masia, and Mark Burnell, he's a left-footed pivot. The only thing is if he can get better on his right foot, I feel like gain more experience. This guy can be very, very, very solid for us. And he's already understands Barca, so he'll probably fit in like a glove. The thing is, will he get the chance and how much minutes will he play? Like currently 16. I don't know if he's gonna make his debut this year. He probably shouldn't, because unless we get more injuries to Christensen and others, I think he should make his debut next year if everything goes well. But he should obviously a backup, maybe even a backup's backup, because like he is gonna be 16 turning 17. But this guy's highly rated. I think we shouldn't let him go. And because he might actually be the Busquets Rodri replacement, that we don't have right now. As for my personal preference regarding our financial situation right now, well, obviously we're not too blessed right now. And that's why I put Wilfred Ndidi on the list because Wilfred Ndidi, he's not like Oriol Romeu, who's just horrible on the ball and he looks scared whenever we're in possession. And Oriol Romeu, he can't get across the pitch. I honestly think that is one of our worst signings, even if it's cheap. This guy, he's a free transfer this year. If he wants to come, I think he would want to come because he's playing the championship. But he was highly rated in the Premier League. I watched this guy. He's a good CDM, not great. He is legitimately a solid player. Even in possession, he's a solid guy. I think he's better than Onana on the ball. He's better than Hamid Swifer in my opinion. And then his age is actually a really good age because he's 27. So he could stay for maybe 3 years and we sell him. And then maybe Mark Burnell comes through or the next CDM that's legitimately amazing or the Busquets long-term replacement. I think Ndidi on a free really, really is a good idea. I just don't know how it can go wrong. I understand we want to get the perfect one, but this guy he won't be bad, man. As for Joshua Kimmich, my thing with Joshua Kimmich is that I see him as another Frankie De Jong, and that's not a bad thing. But I'm just saying, if we're spending like what's said that like 60 million on him, and he's approaching his final year, I just don't know about that. Honestly, I really don't think we should do that. I think Kimmich, if he really wants to come to Barca, come on a free, man. Come on a free in 2025. But paying money for Joshua Kimmich, I don't know about that because we already have Frankie De Jong. Frankie De Jong, I understand he's got a little bit of injuries this season, but he's not usually injury prone. So I don't know why. It would make the team kind of unbalanced. And I understand Kimmich wants to play CDM, but Bayern fans, they do complain that he's not a natural CDM and it'll be better for they want Paulinho from Fulham to come. Why do they want that? Because Paulinho is an actual CDM. This guy is more of an eight when he plays in the midfield, but he likes to sit back, which is cool. But that's exactly what Frankie De Jong does. I don't see how it gets better. It's like adding more firepower instead of addressing some holes. And I rather address the holes before we add firepower. If he comes in 2025, I'm all for it, man. That is quality depth. That is a guy who can legitimately start, and he can also play right back, which is nice, honestly. But I wouldn't spend money, honestly. I would say Kimmich, if you really want to stay at Barca, come next year, bro. You're great, but We're not what we need. That's exactly how I say it. As for Alex Garcia, I don't know why there's rumors on this guy being our CDM replacement. I like Alex Garcia. I've been watching some Girona, when they beat us. I think Alex Garcia is a great player, man. Well, not maybe great, but he's definitely a good player. I think he's the type of player on your bench that doesn't drop off the tempo too much. If we like sub off Pedri or Gavi or any of these guys from Lopez, I think Alex Garcia could start in a big game and play. But the thing is, Alex Garcia, I see him as the Sergio Roberto replacement. If we want to really be having serious depth and being strong in all competitions, like we couldn't this year, unfortunately, but I can see if we put Alex Garcia's release clause as 14 to 15 million, I would package Romeo and try to get it to like 9, 10, because I think that would be easier for the club than giving out straight cash. And I think Alex Garcia is a quality player. So that would be awesome if we could do that. And lastly, I have to say it, the manager doesn't matter. Whoever is our next CDM is going to be affected by the manager because, for example, Flick, if he comes in, I don't know if Zubamendi is going to be as highly rated. But if Xavi was staying, I think we would have definitely seen Zubamendi in the team. And if it's De Zerbi, we literally don't know what De Zerbi wants to do. De Zerbi might want Zubamendi. Um, De Zerbi, he might have his own targets. Like we really don't know. He might give us whoever Brighton's. He might say Pascal Gross, come with me. I don't know what De Zerbi's gonna do. Nagelsmann has a connection with Kimmich. I don't know if it's good or bad because he did fall out with the Bayern players and boards before he left Bayern. So I'm saying the manager really, really doesn't matter. They can build connections, and then they also got who they like, who they ideally would sign, and I think that's the biggest thing. But that's all for today. In my opinion, I would go for Ndidi, I told you, because I think he can do a bit of what Onana does. He's maybe not as amazing on the ball as Zubamendi, but I don't rate Zubamendi as extremely highly good, like rated on the ball. I think he's good. 8 out of 10 player on the ball. I think Ndidi's 6 or 7 out of 10 on the ball. I think Ndidi's a great player, man. We've seen this guy playing at high levels in the Premier League, in Europa League, AFCON, World Cup. Like, I think we should go for him. But that's it for today. And share your opinions in the comment section below. See y'all next time. Peace.